All right, everyone. So we had a lot of pretty big stories today. So that's why we're doing a multi-story video here because we had some pretty big ones. So we're going to start here with Cam Jordan talking about Josh Allen.
Of these three, with the situations they're in next year, which has a better shot at getting to the Super Bowl? Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
I mean, Joe Burrow has proven he can get to the Super Bowl. I would love to see Lamar Jackson get to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, if I thought anything, I thought this was the year.
Yeah, of course.
I said,
They're all out.
All these guys are out. It's his time. And he proved what I thought about him. He plays excellent during season. He shows up. He is Superman. And at the same time, he can't win those big games right now. Again, he can always switch up the narrative years from now to next year, whatever that is. But right now, I'm turning around and I'm looking at Lamar Jackson. Hey, you've got Zay Flowers now. You've got Kyle Hamilton now. You've got, you got a D-line with John Jenkins in there. Let's draft you an edge. You have Marlon Humphreys. You have these players. You have the ability. It's got, for me, Lamar Jackson, Super Bowl.
I'll ask
coming
you this.
soon.
So a few things here. Number one, I think when you look at Josh Allen, there's no question that when you watch that game, you understand exactly what the problem was, right? His turnovers cost the Bills that game. I think everybody could point out he's the reason they were in that game, right? Because he's the one who brought them there, but also that his mistakes cost them the game, and they may even be playing in the Super Bowl right this second if they had won that. But I think it's a little bit unfair that when we look at Josh Allen, okay, we pretend that, Burrow, we've seen him do it. Okay, but Burrow hasn't been healthy. He did it once, right? And hasn't been healthy since. In fact, his team has missed the playoffs a couple years now. Lamar Jackson, when we talk about him, all those guys that Cam Jordan just mentioned, Lamar Jackson had on his team this season. Lamar had a chance this year to get his team into the playoffs. I understand their injuries. With all of that, the Steelers gave them a chance. And what did they do? They lost the game. So that's kind of, I think, when I look at this story, the frustrating part, which is, okay, I understand the blame on Allen. And look, Allen, he deserves to be criticized for it, right? Because those turnovers were so costly. There were a bunch of instances in that game where Josh Allen could have won them the game. Josh Allen had a chance on that last play of regulation to hit his tight end, potentially for a touchdown. That's game right then and there. They're moving on. He had a chance to do that, was unable to. So I get the criticism of Josh Allen, but when we look at Allen and we say, well, he comes up smaller in these big games, it's like, okay, he had problems in these big games, but Allen didn't do what a lot of quarterbacks that we usually, when we think about a quarterback coming up small in big games, that's not what Allen did. That's not what he did here. He had mistakes, but he was still basically being a gunslinger here, right? And throwing the ball down the field. Even with Lamar, when you talk, because we're talking about the turnovers here, Lamar's games in the playoffs when he's had high turnovers, Lamar just played bad. He just played horrid, terrible. Josh Allen basically had a game where he played very good with turnovers, right? So he had like kind of polar opposites, right? The costly turnovers with the very good play. Lamar Jackson's games in the playoffs where he's played abysmal, it's been just terrible. And so I just don't like this kind of narrative that gets brought up with Allen where it's like, you know what? I don't know if he can win the big one. It's like, well, if we look at this season when Mahomes is out, where was Burrow? Oh, okay, not in the playoffs. Where was Jackson? Oh, okay, not in the playoffs. So for that, I think Josh Allen deserves a little bit of credit. And honestly, if you look at the offense, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, they probably have better weapons than Josh Allen did this season. So I just think this is a take that's like, I get it, right? In terms of, I understand people were, it's almost like if Josh Allen didn't make the playoffs this year, he would be viewed higher than him actually making the playoffs. And that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The next story I do think is a really big one. This is Ravens running back Derrick Henry potentially getting A.J. Brown to the Ravens. Let's hear what he had to say.
A.J. Brown, there's some swirling rumors that he might end up on the Ravens.
We would
Wouldn't that be crazy?
love to have him.
You
We
what?
would gladly love to have him.
Tell me about that. What would that even?
So remember, Derrick Henry played with A.J. Brown on the Titans. AJ Brown not happy with the situation with the Eagles, right? He hasn't been happy for like 2 years, so my guess is he may be out of there this offseason. I think you also have to factor in, and this is what if I was, in charge of the Ravens, I would be thinking about. You have some things working against you right now. Number one, you just moved off of an all-time great coach, and I would say the PR battle initially, the Ravens are winning that just because I think a lot of fans, a lot of people in the media are willing to blame Harbaugh for what happened this year. That could change quite quickly if next year this team isn't good. And you have a running back in Derrick Henry who still looks very good, but is certainly still getting older. You have a quarterback in Lamar Jackson who his ability to run the football, the injuries we've seen, all of that time isn't necessarily going to be on his side, right? So you want to win immediately because if you could win immediately, you shift the narrative, you keep it on your side, and you're all good. If next year the Ravens look like they did this year, there's going to be problems, especially if you have the New York Giants looking really good under Harbaugh. So I think A.J. Brown, even though I wouldn't think it's fair if A.J. Brown does go there to say, oh, see, it was Harbaugh's fault because A.J. Brown is such a big addition, I think it's one of those things the Ravens should definitely consider because A.J. Brown's just an unguardable guy, right? He really, really is.
But like knowing Lamar, what would that look like, that dynamic? Like, why would you welcome an A.J. Brown?
AJ's a dog. I play with AJ in Tennessee, so
With Vrabel.
Yeah, with Braves, so and L likes playing with guys who got dog mentality, so he'll love AJ.
He'd be a good fit for Lamar, you
Gladly,
think?
come on over.
Make
come on
the
over.
pitch right here. Tell. I mean, it's
Let's
a
go.
rumor.
Please. AJ, come to Baltimore. Let's go get this ring. You got one in Philly. Y'all did that.
Y'all think
Come
you're
to
maybe an
Baltimore.
A.J. Brown a piece away, like an A.J. Brown. That is a Super Bowl winning piece. He's done it before.
Yeah, I mean, we got AJ Brown, like him and Zay. That'd be crazy. And then Bate, that'd be crazy. That'd be Mark. Got to get Likely back. Ooh, we cooking.
A.J. Brown.
So I agree with everything Derrick Henry said there. And I think the Eagles are a perfect example of what you need to do if you want to get over the hump, right? A lot of teams wouldn't have done what the Eagles did with Saquon Barkley. Even if you go back to that time when we were doing videos on it was on a different channel, but when we were doing videos on it, I wasn't against what they did to get Saquon, but I was pointing out that, look, you have a short window here to make this thing work because if it doesn't, you're going to start running up against the cap issues, right? And I understood what it looked like initially, right? It would look like, oh my God, the Eagles just got the biggest win ever, right, with what happened. I understood that, but I was like, if you can't get this done, you're not going to look so good. Well, they got it done year one. And now the team's falling apart. So that's why you just got to go get it because you never know. A lot of people are like, well, we're building this thing. Well, when you see an opportunity to put yourself, okay, we're fringe contenders to we're contenders, you got to make the move. And I think A.J. Brown, would be that move for the Baltimore Ravens. I truly, truly do. I think he would be that guy for them just because he would give them, no offense to Zay Flowers, the guy is phenomenal. Mark Andrews is phenomenal. Likely is phenomenal. All these guys are great. But A.J. Brown's on another level. And you saw that with the Eagles. Even with the Eagles and all the chaos and everything we've seen, A.J. Brown, I don't think it's good enough. This is why we were upset even throughout the season of, what is this guy doing? Why is he causing the problems he is? Even if you're not catching the football, you are such a distraction for the defense. You open up everything. It was almost like his complaining and his getting upset all year was kind of a detraction from the team because it was like forcing them to play a different style almost. And so I think he would be huge to be on the Ravens. I think he's exactly what they might need. Now, I don't know what that would look like and how they could get that done, but I certainly think they should if they can. Okay, this is one about Max Crosby, which I found interesting.
Guess what? Solid A now.
They crushed it. I don't think they had a miss. Yeah.
So, tons of credit to Elliot Wolf and his staff putting that together and really hitting. But as for this upcoming offseason, outside just free agency, the thing that I'm going to be watching are these players that perhaps want trades. That's what I want to see. Max Crosby doesn't seem too happy in Las Vegas. Is he going to ask for one officially and ask out? Is that a guy? I can tell you, I know he wants to play for Mike Vrabel. He's told me before.
Oh, really?
NFC Plus.
Okay, So Max Crosby wants to play for Mike Vrabel, could ask out. There's a lot of chaos going on with the Raiders, and I know a lot of people say, "Oh, don't trade him, don't trade him." I was on record even with the Browns. I said they should get rid of Myles Garrett. The amount you could get for these guys, to me, surpasses keeping them when you know you're not going to be contending next year. There's two, like when you brought in Pete Carroll, you brought in Geno Smith, you thought, okay, well, let's see what this team could be, right, for the Raiders. Because you bring in someone who had seemingly turned their career around in Geno Smith, you bring in an all-time head coach, but now that that's failed and that's floundered, what's the point of kind of you just kind of go for it all, right? Next year is that reset year, and it doesn't mean you lose on purpose, but I don't think you need to keep Max Crosby, especially if he's not happy. And what you could get from a team like the Patriots to bring him in because he would just fill such a need for them, I think it would be off the charts, right? If they could get that done. So we'll see if they're able to do it, but I think that would be a big move for both sides. That's one of those win-win situations. So I think all three of these stories were, they were almost ones I felt like I had to do because they were so interesting. And, I think they all made sense. I think Derrick Henry, like, it's amazing to listen to him talk about it because everything he said there was right on the money. It's like, yeah, A.J. Brown, with these guys we have, everybody on there, come on, right? That is a big, and I think from the Ravens' perspective, people can't understate what they did. Like, I think because they didn't make the playoffs this year, people forget that they got rid of John Harbaugh. Like, people forget that. And people are going to start remembering that a little bit more if come next year, we're looking at this Ravens team and going, wait a minute, they weren't very good this year. They kind of stunk this year. If that's what we're looking at come next December, next January, next February, it's not, the organization is going to look foolish, right? And so I think if you could bring in that guy, right, I think that would help out a lot. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.